guys, this is your warning. We do post up spoilers. At times we're relatively offensive. We use vulgar language. So if you think that any of those are gonna offend you in any way, shape, or form, take your step back right now. Because, buddy, this is not the place for you. Anywho, have fun listening to us. And yeah, this has been your final warning. Hey guys, welcome to Cinematic Anarchy. This is Miss B, Honeybee. And tonight we are talking about Battle Royale. So here is us, me, Zeph.
Battle Royale.
And Chris.
We've already mentioned the movie twice, so I don't feel the need to say it again.
That's definitely my favorite. From the movie Accepted with the one guy, he's like, Battle Royale. And we're just all into it. Ever since we started talking about this movie, that's been in my head.
I've seen this movie several times over the years, and I picked up the book once a long time ago, and I Land Far, Far Away.
I read the book like 3 times, and it was great every time. I love the movie, I love the book, I love the fact that they stayed with the storyline from the book.
I don't read. I can, but not an avid reader. So,
your tax dollars at work, sir. Your education, right there. I don't read.
I used to be an avid reader back in like middle school and high school, and now I'm just like dead.
No, but I'm a big fan of anime, and for anybody out there listening that likes anime, I guarantee you will like this movie.
Absolutely.
I was big fan. I kind of wish that I did read the manga as well as the book itself.
Well, I'm actually intent upon reading the book. So I picked up the book again. So this is my second time purchasing the book. The first time I did not read it. But that is because I was so heavily stuck at like working 2 different jobs at the same time and trying to find time to do the daddy bear thing and read and do 2 jobs and basically live life. It's not easy.
And a special shout out to the Father's Day for Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not a Father's Day podcast. That was several days ago. By the time this is released, it'll be at least 2 to 3 days after the podcast.
It's fine.
Or after Father's Day, I should say.
Happy late Father's Day, everybody.
Yes, happy belated Father's Day. Happy really, really late or very, very early Mother's Day.
Now,
one of the
you
two.
Want to go about that?
Merry Christmas!
Oh, no, my bills can't handle it. I'm still paying last Christmas.
Oh my goodness.
So where do we begin with this fantastically amazing movie?
I'd say before we get into the discussion of the actual movie, I want to just... The book itself, it actually produced so many pop culture offshoots. Yes. Everything from what we now consider Battle Royale games, sort of like PUBG, Fortnite, stuff like that, are all sort of based on what that book was about.
Yep.
And you have several, I want to say, sorry-ass movies that were made sort of in the same sort of theme as that, The Condemned being one of them. And
Hunger Games was a blatant ripoff.
Blatant. And that was like an entire book series that was like a ripoff of...
Yeah, you were telling me a little bit earlier how they initially were they were going to make a remake to Battle Royale, or at least like the third installment of it, but because Hunger Games came out, they put a stop to it because they didn't want everybody to think that they were ripping off what ripped them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And I just want to say to all the lovely folks that listen to us that love the Hunger Games, I want to apologize, but then again, fuck you. Never mind. I'm not apologizing.
Honestly,
I don't like the Hunger Games.
I liked Hunger Games. It wasn't terrible, but it's a blatant ripoff.
Books were good.
Yeah.
Books were good. I did read those books. First movie was good. Fantastic first movie. And
Absolutely.
then I think the second, third, and fourth installments, they just dropped the ball.
Peter!
I wasn't feeling anything after the first movie. I mean, I just could not invest myself in the series. And so I will give you the first great outing, but I think that they were trying to roll a little too hard on the money that they were going to make from it and not pay enough attention to what they were actually doing.
Yeah.
I watched the first one. I had to get through all of them.
This is not a Hunger Games podcast. We're done with Hunger Games. Okay. So, moving on from there, and that other movie, The Condemned, was a guilty pleasure of mine. I actually kind of liked that movie.
Stone Cold
Stone Cold Steve Austin, his first really good outing. But that being said, they had a sequel to that too, which was
The Condemned 2.
The Condemned 2 with
The Condemner.
What's his name there? The Rattlesnake, Randy Orton. Did not like that. No.
I don't think I saw The Condemned.
It's not a bad flick. It really isn't.
It's like Battle Royale with convicts.
Okay.
Yeah, basically they're taking convicts from around the world and just putting them in the same position, dropping them on an island, and it's all sort of like a black market
Then they kind
scheme to bet on these people and who's going to be the last one alive. Who's going to be the next
I
one to die.
believe Stone Cold's Steve Austin's character was he also framed kind of like a death race type deal?
Yeah, I want to say that he was
like
definitely framed.
He was framed, and then they threw him in there, and turns out you framed the wrong guy because him and Jason Statham will ruin.
Jason Statham is bae. Oh, God, I love him. And his stupid face.
For once, a martial artist whose movies I do not particularly hate.
Yeah, right?
I mean, we got Steven Seagal. Most of his movies I can't tolerate. Jean-Claude Van Damme, I've got about like a 25-75 thing going on there. 25% I like, 75% could get flushed down the toilet and I would care less. Jason Statham, I want to say he's gone right now, rolling on a maybe 80-20. 80% of his movies I like. There's about 20% out there that were ill-conceived.
Yeah.
So I'm up there with Jet Li. Jet Li is one of my favorite martial arts movie guys.
Non-Americanized Jet Li.
Tony Jaa for me. Oh, God, I love him.
And we have gotten way off the subject.
Yes, okay,
it's
so
fine.
back to Battle Royale. The movie.
So the initial plot for this movie, kids are terrible. So they pretty much in Japan, it came to the point where kids were skipping school, joining gangs, just becoming all around bad people. So the government decides to have this initiative where they randomly select a single class to battle to the death with one survivor.
Right, and this was actually all based on there was a collapse, an economic collapse in the 21st century for Japan, and they're saying that the unemployment rates got so high that students began boycotting their classes. Basically, they were becoming unruly, difficult to deal with, and so the Battle Royale Act was put into place as a way to sort of weed out the bad seeds. And as much as we say randomly selected, obviously in this particular movie, that random selection was not very random. No. Because the teacher...
Who gets stabbed in the first scene of the movie.
Not so much stabbed.
Sliced.
Slashed under the buttock.
Don't slash me, stab me, anything, student. And he goes into the point, though, what I really liked, how... it came to the point where he got sliced in the leg. And there's nothing he could do about it. Because the way, even now our society is, kids can be so unruly in school, and yet there's nothing a teacher can do. I'm going to call your parents. Well, guess what? These kids run over their parents, too. I like, even though we didn't get into an economic collapse yet, it's kind of just how our the next generation is being brought up. Like, I'm going to call the cops on you. Like, no, I'm just disciplining you. Relax.
Yeah. So, am I mistaken that the teacher's name was Kitano?
I believe.
Kanato, something like that. It says Kitano.
Kitano, yep.
And I mean, I honestly liked him in the movie. I mean, I'm not liked him, but he was like a really good bad guy. Very, very, very peppy. Very much like I'm getting getting my revenge on you little shits for doing what you did.
Severely enjoying it. Every second of it.
To the point that he painted a wonderful mural of all these kids basically massacring themselves outside of the one that he wished was going to actually win.
Because she was an all-around good student.
Miss Noriko.
Yeah.
Which, to me, it's I just don't understand how this weeds out the bad kids. Because, to me, a kill to the death, like a battle to the death, is going to leave the worst kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in this particular movie,
and they
it's
take
not
that
how it
worst
ends.
kid and they put them into the next class to battle.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, you did it once, do it again.
Yeah, like, there's no escape from it.
That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like even those kids that win
They
don't necessarily win. They're stuck in this battle until either
Until
they're
they
dead
die.
or
until they keep
all
winning.
they did was transfer him to the school that was next.
right. Two of them actually.
Well, no, that other one volunteered.
Right. The oh god.
The redheaded kid.
Yeah.
Which I think he would have played a really good Ichigo from Bleach. Was not a fan of the adaptation, that the live action adaptation that they did.
I did see that. I'm not a huge fan of the live action remakes of all these animes.
Even Death Note was terrible.
No, it was god-awful.
They could have done that great. Made at least a 2-parter movie.
Yeah.
You see, this is why I like that we're doing this movie. Like, this is where my anime expertise come into play. But I mean, some of the kills in this were definitely anime worthy. Some of them not so much. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it was so. This movie, when it was originally released in Japan, it was given like a no one under 15 rating, which was like death to films over there.
Yeah.
And they fought against it too, and finally said, well, they're either going to put more restrictions on the actual film itself, or we're going to release it this way. And so that initial release, it was given a hard time with that no one under 15 rating, and I think he actually went on the record at one point of saying, if you want to see this movie, just sneak in and see it.
Yeah.
Go see it. Sneak in.
just do it.
All the little kids sneak in and watch my movie.
Just do it!
You look just like your parents, anyways. Yeah, same height. Sorry, that's.
I loved that they used the girl from Kill Bill that played
Yes.
Go-Go. She's always been a great actress.
Actress.
Same difference, pretty much.
Misuki, or whatever her name is, she was my favorite character. I'm a little upset that she ended up, dying the way that she did.
Oh, so that was Takeko Chigusa?
Chigusa.
Played by Chiaki Kuriyama.
Yep.
If I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not terribly good with the pronunciation. Pronunciation?
That's the one thing about their names. It's syllable. It's pretty good. No, I mean...
We're super white. I'm sorry if we can't pronounce these names.
Do not hate us.
I'm not sure Omar would have fared any better. Honestly. It's not the white thing. I don't think Omar would have fared any better.
No. We're just bad at this.
And yes, we are sorry. Missing to our podcast this evening is Mr. Omar. We will hopefully have him on our next cast.
Yeah, I missed the one I picked out. Bulletproof Monk. I hope you guys listened to that and you enjoyed it, because I wasn't there. Sad face.
And this movie
was a shout out for you.
I know, but still.
Yes. That was one he really wanted to be there for.
Yeah.
He fought to be there, but
Things happen.
family obligations happen.
Gosh darn niece. So when it comes down to this initial movie, though, I loved it. I mean, how did you guys feel?
It was amazing. I've always loved this movie since... Well, look, I've loved this whole storyline since I read the books back when I was in middle school. And then I read it again a couple more times in high school, and then I just stopped reading altogether after I got out of high school, and I just slack hardcore on books now. But this was a well-written book. This was a well-played-out movie, and they followed the storyline almost perfectly.
There was a couple of things that were a little weird to me. Kawana, whichever his name is. He at one point he's like, my dad is a doctor. He's like, yeah, my dad's a doctor. I just patched you up. And then the next scene he cooked and he's like, yeah, my dad's a chef.
It could be both.
And it's like, do you have two dads? Do you have one dad? That's just
jobs?
is he like just the man?
Perhaps he was like that all-around guy in the military, got in there to be sort of a paramedic, and then he became part of the cooking crew when he was tired of seeing the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a possibility for it, but, I ended up having to Google it to find out what he did, and they say that his father was a doctor, and he ended up getting killed because he was chosen to be a part of the Battle Royale in the first for the first one. So his father, I guess his father does something, like, in the military. That's what they say, and he must have done kind of like what the other kid did the other kid's uncle did.
Okay.
I mean, the other kid's uncle was more terrorist
Yeah.
than anything.
Yeah, we're making explosives with fertilizer and nitrogen and all that stuff. And
This is the detonation pin that he tried to blow up Parliament with. Like, bro.
I'm on the other hand. Hey, dude, I cooked some mashed potatoes. You want to put the bomb down for a minute, eat a little?
We do not need to kill everyone.
Yes, we do.
I've personally seen this movie several times. I recently purchased the Blu-ray box set that has both movies, Part 1 and Part 2. We're hoping to do Part 2. I'm not sure if we're going to do it as the next...
watching Part 2 once I get home tonight. Oh my goodness.
I'm not sure if we're going to do it as the next podcast, but at least one more removed.
Yeah.
I want to do it soon. But yeah, I loved the movie through and through. I think it was a fantastically trippy little ride. I like those films that just are balls to the wall action all the way through, and the fact that most of the action was done by a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah.
Even that much more impressive.
They didn't overact. They didn't
The absolute
handled the movie like they were actually in the situation. Like it was well played out. It was well acted out.
I mean, it's just like there's some things that were getting me. Like they're point blank range, just shooting at them.
Yeah.
And it's like you're like no, bang, 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 and like it's like you're just hitting the tree a mile away.
Well, remember these are kids with no assault weapon
Point
experience.
blank range though, it's like with the handgun.
They went to the Stormtrooper School of Shooting.
Yeah, when it came to the first guy, the main character Shuya, when it came to him, he's point blank range and he shoots the guy in the vest. Okay, I get you didn't shoot the guy in the head after your third shot, but he at least was hitting him.
Yeah.
There were so many people that were so close, like the smart guy. He even has his glasses on. And he's doing math for some reason while he's like, I'm going to get into a good school. You watch. And he's like shooting point blank. And he's just hitting no one.
In high stress situations, especially for kids, like you're not going to be able to like hold your hand still. These kids are probably like anxious as fuck and shaking all over and like...
Yeah, I mean, he was relatively scared.
So like, it makes sense that like they wouldn't be able to shoot people even at point blank range because they're just fucking terrified of everything that moves.
Yeah, and there was the what I thought was one of the smartest characters, even though he kind of like blew his spot up. The kid in the beginning when they first leave the school and he's outside and he's picking people off right off the roof. The big problem is he's an asshole and he's screaming while he's doing it like
yeah, no, like you got to be stealth about that shit.
Yeah, like
but
you have to...
He got cocky and fucking all this...
No, he didn't even get cocky. He just didn't know what to do. I mean, obviously, you're in Japan, you've definitely watched some sort of anime.
Oh, yeah.
All you people imagined it. Like, I don't mean you people, I mean like everybody who has ever read an anime has pictured yourself in these situations.
Yeah.
You know, like, have a little bit more tact, I'd say. You know? Like the kid who volunteers. The kid who volunteered was just like, I'm ready. I'm gonna go kill some people, and here we go.
Yeah.
I liked the other guy, the other transfer student. He gets out of the room for just a moment, comes back, tosses the bag back at him. No, that one. That's my bag.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh yeah, random bags my ass.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, he must have like looked in it real quick and he was like, oh, fucking binoculars.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you guys aren't getting me like that. And they gave him the opportunity to do it because they know he's there specifically to kill. Like, the two people.
Just sort of disrupt everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, a few little tidbits that you may not have known about this particular movie anyway. Let's see. I had them, like, right in front of me.
Oh, no.
Look at that. So I get off on a tangent. So this was actually one of Japan's top 10 highest grossing films of all time. None of the cast members in the movie had stunt doubles at all. Not even the lead.
He got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the movie actually played on festival circuits and a lot of people got copies of bootlegs and everything, but it wasn't until 2011 when Anchor Bay had actually made a deal for distribution for the movie that it actually got a wide release in the United States. So there wasn't a wide theatrical release in the United States of this particular movie, mainly because the fella that made the movie, he didn't want to distribute in the U.S. So he was being sort of ridiculous about the offers he was expecting for distribution in the U.S. It was a little too high for a lot of the independent companies, and it was high enough that some of the more prominent distribution companies were just not gonna bend.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're gonna pay that to distribute your movie.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the end of the day, I enjoyed it. And then they came out with The Condemned. They were like, we're not going to do your movie. We'll do our own.
Well, they say imitation is a sincere form of flattery, and bad imitation is the best way to wipe your ass on somebody's book, I guess.
I suppose so. Yeah, no, I
This has always been one of my favorite stories.
I wouldn't mind them doing a complete remake, kind of American style, but with students. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind something like that. And I'm not talking Hunger Games style.
Well, there was one in the works. They just never got off the ground, thanks to the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Boo.
Boo. Yeah, big boo. I mean, honestly, Hunger Games versus a remake of Battle Royale.
I would take Battle Royale any day.
And I'm not saying, just Americanize the whole movie. But, we had to watch it dubbed or subbed. And I don't mind doing that. But I also wouldn't mind watching an American version where they do speak English, even a British version. Let's go British version. I wouldn't care.
Right.
Just something where the voice matched up to what was going on. I wouldn't mind that.
What do you mean? I don't mind watching subtitles. You opposed to subtitles?
I don't mind watching it either.
But when it's on the TV, I get distracted by my phone.
And sometimes I do. It's like, oh, and you're looking up and down, like, okay, what are they saying? And it's like, oh no, I just missed that gory part because
you're missing the action because you're reading down here and the dubbing doesn't quite match up.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, I hate to say it, but Americanized dubbing of Japanese or Asian movies in general,
it's terrible.
Actually, not even Asian movies. Have you noticed the bad trend with Netflix lately?
Yeah.
It's
the subtitles don't match up with the dub.
There's a lot of South American movies that they're kind of pushing up here, and they have European movies they're pushing over here, and they're doing a dubbing, American dubbing, and the energy coming from the person doing those voiceovers is just nowhere near as intense as what's going on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're shooting at me. Yeah.
You're really cool. You're the coolest girl in the world. Like, the fuck, boy? Show some goddamn emotion.
I'm looking at the subtitles here. That's not what you fucking said.
Yeah, right?
And that ended up happening in this movie with the woman from Kill Bill, and
I love her. So she's my favorite.
Yeah, there's her, and then the guy that she kind of has a crush on, even though she knows that he has a crush on somebody else, and she's like, "Do you like her? Do you like somebody else? Oh, it's cool. You're the coolest." Just.
I've got no words,
That was
honestly.
a weak death. She was
we're
my
all
favorite
about to
character,
cough
and
here.
that was a weak death.
Dry throat.
Those combination
Everyone's got
3.
cotton mouth.
I am getting further away from the mic because I'm grabbing my drink from across the room.
No, this was definitely, I'll say, the number one movie that we've reviewed so far, for me.
Well, that is because we are reviewing a movie that is, well, I would consider it a cult classic because it didn't get a wide release in the United States. I don't consider it something that would have been a cult classic in any other country.
Yeah.
It was definitely a high-grossing movie in Japan. It was not a cult classic. It was just a classic, period, over there.
Yeah.
And due to the issues with distribution over here, that's why it's sort of a cult classic here.
Yeah. No, I was telling my buddy about this, and he was like, I'm definitely going to watch it. He's my anime friend. He's one of my many anime friends.
Definitely a higher quality movie than some movies that we've had a chance to watch.
Yeah.
While I do love Bulletproof Monk, sir, this was so much better.
I agree, I just want... Bulletproof Monk was one of my favorite movies growing up, and that's why I kind of chose it, because not everybody was as big as a fan as I was.
I couldn't stay serious through the entire through the movie at all.
Kung Fu Stifler.
Kung Fu Stifler.
Right. That's when I was putting out on social media. That's what I tagged. Just Kung Fu Stifler. With the action grip. No. But anyway, this was a fantastic movie. Point out, everybody loved it here. Me and Miss B were the only ones who have actually seen it previously. This is a first for Mr. Zeph here. So when we actually go watch the second movie, outside of the fact that I've seen maybe the first 10 minutes of it, I haven't seen the rest.
Yeah. I still need to watch the second movie.
Like,
I'm disappointed they were doing a double feature on like Showtime at one point, and I sat through the entire first movie because I loved the first movie, and then the second one started, and I got like 10 minutes in, and there was like a speech going on, and then I passed out, and I'm like, no DVR,
So
the DVR didn't
yourself.
pick it up, damn it.
no.
I've been there.
I'm gonna have like a watch like attached to my heartbeat that tells when my heart rate drops while I'm watching something, so the DVR just kicks in. Invent that technology for me. Come on. DVR that kicks in when you pass out watching something.
You can ask me, oh, are you still there? No, I'm not. You know, you saw me not click OK for like 10 minutes.
Are you still there? No, please record when I'm not watching right now, please. For the love of God. I don't want to miss it. All
Just
right.
record when you start watching it. That way, if you fall asleep, you're good.
So we're going to take a quick second to go ahead and bring in our sponsor, and then we'll be right back. All right, so getting back to it, we're going to go ahead and start with the question of the day. And that question is, what movie do you feel would be greatly improved if it were turned into a musical?
I say Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That would be incredible. This is always one of my favorite movies ever since I was in like high school. And yeah, no, like the whole idea behind the movie, and like they got the whole like Inception thing going on with the dreams and wiping their memories. Like I think it would be a great movie. Or a great musical.
Okay. I mean, I'm not sure if it, like I was discussing a little bit ago, I don't think it would elevate the movie all that much. I think that it may be...
I feel like Clementine would get really into the music, and she would just make it. And plus, you got fucking not Jared Leto, I was just thinking of Requiem for a Dream.
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey, yes.
Jim Carrey is very animated.
Jim
Yes.
Carrey is extremely animated, and he would make those songs fucking incredible.
He does like to sing on stage a little bit.
Yeah.
Not great, but...
He
Yeah.
I think that would make it just a little bit better. Like, not greatly improved, but it would be incredible to watch.
Okay. So, in that vein, now I'm not sure if it would improve the movie much, but the movie that I'm thinking of that would be hilarious, it's already a funny fucking movie, that would be hilarious as a musical, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh my
I
god,
was thinking
yes!
of that myself, but I feel like that would take away.
Johnny Depp already has a great voice.
I think that honestly, kind of like what they did with the Anchorman movies, where they had like the Anchorman movie, and then they had a completely alternate take of the same movie that they released on the Blu-ray, that was the entire movie but completely different jokes all the way through. Right?
Have something like Braveheart be a musical.
Right. I think that they should make, or should have made, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and then the exact same movie, except for as a musical. Because the movie's like a trip test to begin with. And I think honestly Johnny Depp could sell it. I
Oh
really
yes,
do.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
Johnny Depp can sell
Depp's
just
got a
about
great voice
anything.
as it is. Like,
I'm not sure about Benicio del Toro. It might be a little awkward with him, but I would definitely buy into it just because Benicio is just kind of that kind of awkward, cool guy.
yeah.
Nah. You got any other than Braveheart?
No,
I don't know about
read
Braveheart the musical.
This one was like kind of a hard question for me.
Braveheart the Italian opera.
Because like I am a fan of musicals. Like my mother was the reasoning for that one. I mean, it came down to like The Newsies was one of my favorite movies. I don't know if you've ever seen it. If not, watch it. It's about the struggle of the New York newspaper boys before they started the union, and I loved it. So when it comes to like making other movies, like I don't think some movies should have been musicals, and finding one that should or should not have been, should have been, it's kind of difficult for me.
I think one of my favorite musicals of all time, honestly, Moulin Rouge.
Yes.
A lot of musicals
I
out
agree.
there. Fantastic musical if you ever get a chance to see it.
Rock of Ages, Across the Universe.
Right, yes. Across the Universe is actually right up there with Moulin Rouge as far as I'm concerned. There's a lot of really, really great musical out there, but then there's also musicals that, like, destroy the genre. Like, why did you make this a musical?
You know, it would be a good one.
Phantom of the Opera was
now that
one
I'm
of my
thinking off
favorites
the top
growing
of
up.
my head, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh my god!
As a musical.
As an
that
entire
would...
musical.
That would be fantastic.
Do you know what they made into a musical? Toxic Avenger. There was a musical stage play for the Toxic Avenger. I would have loved to have gone to New York to go watch that. Honestly, it sounded fantastic. But I mean, yeah, there's not a lot of movies I think that would be elevated so much outside of this. We have a list
It
of
would
like
just be
really, really
entertaining.
bad
Like,
movies.
It wouldn't elevate the movie, but it would be entertaining.
Like, if I'm honest,
Romeo and Juliet.
Oh god, no.
if I'm honest, like Jason Statham's Death Race movie as a musical, come on. Just, can you imagine, you get about halfway through the movie, but you can't just make it a musical. For that kind of thing, you've got to take everybody, like, completely out of their heads. Like, the entire beginning of the movie is just this really serious, like, movie about convicts that are getting ready to race to the death. And just as soon as the race starts, it's a musical. And they're all singing in their cars back and forth to each other.
I will kill you. Kill
Murder,
you.
death, kill. You remember.
Oh my
Death Race
God.
2050. Minerva.
Murder, death, kill.
Murder, death, kill. Name of the movie. 187. Murder, death, kill. Come on.
Chappie.
Huh?
Chappie.
No! Demolition Man.
I didn't see that.
Same.
I know.
So,
I know. I'm
you're
slacking
knowing us.
on
So-
my movies.
Back at the time that the movie came out, it was not that bad. But it is so dated right now, it's not even funny. So dated. That is Sylvester Stallone, Sandra Bullock, Benjamin Bratt, Dennis Leary,
Oh my god.
and, of course, Wesley Snipes as one of the cockiest villains you will ever meet with a blonde hairdo. It was just
god.
fantastic movie through and through. If you watch it now, it is so corny to watch. But back then, the whole premise was, like, he was chasing after Wesley Snipes. So, Wesley Snipes, the bad guy, obviously. Sylvester Stallone is the rogue cop that's just out of control.
Yeah.
And he basically ends up blowing up this building trying to kill this guy. And Wesley Snipes escapes. And, of course, they arrest Sylvester Stallone, too, because there was a bunch of civilians inside the building that he just blew up trying to kill Wesley Snipes. They cryogenically freeze them, and that's where the credits start. And in the future... Wesley Snipes is de-thawed to try to see if he's been rehabilitated by their rehabilitational program. So what they did was they were kind of feeding things to them subliminally in the cryogenic stasis to see if that would rehabilitate them and make them better people. Somebody messed with his cryogenic stasis, and he ended up getting combat training and all sorts of other evil things. How to build bombs and this, that, and the other thing, and. Of course, Sylvester Stallone learned how to knit while he was in Grudge. That's what he got.
Don't you worry. We're at the top of this building. I'll get us down.
I got this strange urge to knit an Afghan. Got into yarn, but no, it was a fantastic movie. And in the future, I guess cops don't even carry weapons anymore. It's just like a stun baton that knocks you out if you can get close enough. So guns are unheard of.
Yeah.
There's no music in the future anymore. The only thing that is considered music are literally commercial jingles.
Yeah.
Those are the So you have Sandra Bullock in the car singing the Oscar Mayer Wiener song, one of her favorite songs of all time.
It's popcorn.
One of the movies that made me fall in love with Sandra Bullock as an actress, honestly, because she was just so unbelievably naive in that movie.
Demolition Man is what it is.
Demolition Man. Gotta watch that. It's absolutely hilarious.
And I have another little fun musical, Die Hard.
Die Hard
Yes!
the musical.
Oh my
Well, they've gone every other place that they can with that friggin' movie. Might as well
Right?
go Die Hard the musical.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Well, you know that
Yippee-ki-yay,
Bruce Willis is a musician in his spare time. He's a blues musician.
So, Mr. Willis, if you are listening to this for some reason, which, shout out to you, yeah, Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. I would love to hear that
Glass.
song.
Oh my god.
Wonderful movie.
Oh my god. No spoilers. Oh my.
I won't. It's great.
I own the movie. Voodoo. So.
I'm probably going to look it up online later on when I get home and try and see if I can find that, because, oh my god, I've been waiting for this movie since the fucking,
I will say...
Not Glass. Was it Glass? Yeah, it was Glass.
No, Unbreakable was the original.
Unbreakable was the original one. Okay, yeah.
So I will say...
And then Split, and then Glass, yeah.
That the only thing... I watched the movie from the beginning to the end. The only thing that would disappoint me about the movie is if they did not continue the story.
Yeah.
So, the way that they ended the movie, and I'm not going to tell you anything about it, but they left it in an area that it definitely needs to be continued. And I'm hoping to God it's not like another 10 years down the road.
Well,
yeah.
It's to the point where it doesn't need to be, because, it's kind of just okay, a whole new world.
I
Boom.
feel that what they did with the movie is a perfect segue for M. Night Shyamalan to go over to Netflix and go, I want to create a TV show for you.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect.
That would be amazing.
Perfect.
And I'm sorry, this isn't really ruining anything for you.
I'm not telling you anything about what's going on.
I got basic ideas of what's going on in the movie, but I fucking cannot wait to see it. Oh god, I was supposed to. My boyfriend and I had 4 dates planned up to go see it, and we just skipped out every time, and I don't know why.
That's why I love
He's a
Showbox.
butthole.
That's why I love Showbox.
I loved Unbreakable. And I did not expect Split to kind of be the sequel of that.
No, neither did I. And then fucking Bruce Willis shows up at the end.
He just shows up.
Mr. Glass, what?
And then I watched...
Yeah, right? I'm fucking ready for this shit! Oh.
I watched this Glass movie, this heart-wrenching mess, and I was just... What are you doing? Stop! Actually, no, don't stop. That's good. I had to sit there. I had to process what I had just watched for 30 minutes after the movie was done. Just
with Split?
I loved the way.
Oh yeah, I
Split.
went through the 7 stages. The denial and the anger and the pleading and the bargaining, and then finally it was just acceptance. There
loved the
has
way
to
they
be
did
more.
Split. What's his fucking name?
James McAvoy?
James McAvoy. McAvoy. James McAvoy is a fucking amazing actor, and I can't get past Mr. Tumnus being this fucking monster.
There is one movie that I'm excited to watch him in, and I have it on my little voodoo thing. He's in Atomic Blonde.
Oh, no shit.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I don't think
Charlize Theron? That badass movie?
Listen, buddy, I've been meaning to watch it.
I figured that would be right up your alley.
Yeah.
She apparently plays a badass chick in that movie, and I am excited to watch the movie. And
the entire time I was watching fucking Split, I was like, Mr. Tumnus from Narnia, what's good?
I've always liked her as a lead anyway.
He did play Mr. Thomas.
Tumnus.
Tumnus. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
I always thought it was Thomas.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and segue right into our Pitch Storm segment. All right, so we've already pre-drawn the cards. And so we have a character card, a plot card, and a bit of notes.
And Chris is the only one who knows what the pre-pulled cards are. So.
Yes, well, you guys all pulled your cards, and you've seen your own cards, but you haven't heard them all together. Mm-hmm. So, what we have here is a video game character come to life, must survive the night in a town overrun by feral children. And the notes here is, what if the main character was actually a giant misunderstood gorilla? So...
Donkey
the main
Kong?
Character, apparently, yeah. There's not a lot of...
So Donkey Kong has to survive the Children of the Corn. All right.
Okay.
So that's basically how that all worked out. It's Donkey Kong versus the Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of giant, or misunderstood gorillas in video games.
Yeah.
And it turns out that it's Diddy Kong in a nursery. A nursery at a hospital. And he ends up getting some sort of drug, the drug lands in his food, he eats it, he goes crazy, and then he thinks he's in a town.
What if it's not necessarily... and that would be my child, Alex, entering the room, which we are... Hey, there you go. Which we are currently recording in. This is also the area where Alex does a lot of his own work. Anyway, so here's my thought. What if it's not actually he's not actually a giant misunderstood gorilla? What if he just thinks he is? What if he's like a psych ward patient who thinks he's Donkey Kong? So he's doing this entire thing. It's sort of like a back and forth.
All right.
Even the feral children are not actually feral children. So you got this guy who's actually escaped psych ward patient who comes to some backwards, middle of nowhere town and just starts attacking people. And every time we cut away to what's going on in his head, it sounds like schizophrenia.
Yeah.
So every time we're cutting away to what's going on in his head, he thinks he's like Donkey Kong in this game, just beating down these kids that are coming at him with pitchforks and shovels. And, you know, he thinks it's like Children of the Corn, and he's Donkey Kong just rolling barrels at people.
I'm seeing this as like some kind of crank shit.
Crank?
Crank. Like the whole like the visual effects and everything. Like I can see it. This guy running around like fucking Jason Statham, yeah.
Right. Somewhere halfway between like Crank and maybe like Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
Kinda.
Oh my god.
You know, because you got to have that video game aesthetic to the whole movie. Because he thinks he's playing out a video game, like something just maybe he was like a gamer that just went a little bit too far, just cracked, got stuck in the game, and he just constantly. You know, maybe it's like VR gone wrong. Just constantly think he's stuck in that game, you know.
His mother just destroyed his
brain
PlayStation.
fried and he couldn't get out.
Maybe he like a buddy of his like gave him like some LSD or something and he was kind of...
And he was catatonic for a while just sitting there, and so they didn't even like tie him down or anything, and then he finally like snaps to, only now he thinks he's Donkey Kong.
Extra life, you know, and just goes after everybody. He's just rolling these massive, like, 55-gallon drums at people, you know.
Mind you, he's also a bodybuilder because he has to be relatively strong enough to, like, take on a whole town.
Right. Well, he doesn't need to be necessarily a bodybuilder, just well-toned.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Because, I mean, have you ever seen somebody that is just a little bit way too tweaked out?
Yeah.
They got, like, superhuman strength.
I lived in Boston.
That adrenaline, you know, just...
I've seen plenty of it.
Saw a video of, they're like, crackheads can do anything. And the guy has, like, has a refrigerator on his head while he's riding a bike.
Holding it with one arm.
Yeah, like, he has a refrigerator on his head while riding a bike. You heard me correct, Chris.
A what? A refrigerator on his head?
Yes, like, he gets on the bike, he tips the refrigerator on top of his head, holds it, while he rides his bike down the street. I'll have to show you the video after. It's
bicycle.
Yeah, bicycle. I'm
like seeing like a really specific scene from a movie with like Ben Stiller in it, where he's like carrying like massive pieces of furniture on his back. He's just this little guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Where are we taking this? 3rd floor." What? Where?
Well, this guy would have been like 3rd floor, no problem.
So, okay, we got to think of the perfect actor for this, like, tweaked out dude. Somebody that just looks absolutely nut. Actually, there's somebody that can play crazy. He's done it before. And he's also well built. Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah!
Mark Wahlberg.
Have you seen Fear?
Yes.
Right. That movie with him and Renee Zellweger?
Okay, yeah.
Not Renee Zellweger, Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
That first movie that he did where he played the psycho boyfriend.
Yep.
Right? That whole thing, I loved him in that movie.
That was a good movie.
And I'm so disappointed he hasn't gone to that extreme in some of his other movies before. But, okay, and now we're seeing the video for... This is a YouTube video?
Yeah.
Oh, the tweaker with the fridge.
Oh, this is fantastic. So he's picking up the fridge off the ground. Just... It's not a full-size fridge. It's like a dorm fridge.
It's a refrigerator on his head.
It's an old school one too. It looks like one of those old school like steel or
That shit's heavy.
Wow.
Yep, I'm just gonna casually take this and let's go.
All right. And he's gonna hop on his bike and just drive. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, we got Mark Wahlberg as this guy here.
Okay.
So he's landed in the middle of like I want to say like Kansas. Like some backwards nowhere town in Kansas.
And
so
Will
he's
Ferrell
being
in there with him.
He's being driven in a van, a la The Fugitive, and driven in a van to another facility, something that's a stronger, because they feel he's a danger to himself and others.
Yeah.
Because he just cannot snap out of this, and so he's come out of his coma. He's not in the medical ward anymore. ward anymore. He came out of the coma and just started throwing people around. That's his first experience as Donkey Kong. He thinks he's Donkey Kong. He is living his life as Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Right?
Scared as hell because there's a bunch of doctors around him.
It's like Donkey Kong on drugs, the movie. So they've decided to put him in like a maximum security psych ward. So they're driving him from point A to point B. Car crashes. He escapes. All right, so he escapes through the cornfields, and he's picturing himself kind of as Donkey Kong running through the cornfield. And let's see, we got to figure out some other players here because all we got is Mark Wahlberg acting like a large gorilla.
Well, you have to have the guy
Which is
going
perfect.
after
He's
him.
been in Planet of the Apes.
He's playing like the Mario character. You know what I mean? Like he's like, oh, like we need to go save him. Like he's his therapist. And he sees the therapist as the Donkey Kong, as like the Mario character running up the ladders and stuff, going to go like save the princess.
So who's the princess? Who's the focal point? Oh, do we have to do that way? Are we doing
Emma
it like
Stone.
old school Donkey Kong? Like, are we doing hero Donkey Kong? Or are we doing the villain Donkey Kong? Because there's two different versions.
He is Donkey Kong. He doesn't know where he is in this world yet. He is still just anything to do with Donkey Kong. He finds like a way to do it. He gets in a go kart. Now he's Mario Kart version. I mean,
So it basically depends upon the situation, depends upon the game that he mentally reverts to.
Yeah.
you know, so he's at top of like, he's on top of like the random church in the middle of this western town.
What's the name of the female Donkey Kong? There's Diddy Kong, and then there's a female Donkey
Candy
Kong.
Kong.
Is it Candy Kong? You sure?
I had no idea.
Candy Kong is like the slutty.
That'd be
nurse.
hilarious. Candy Kong, okay. Okay, Candy Kong. So we got to come up with people for each one of these. And these people are not actually associated with him in real
Emma
life.
Stone.
Emma Stone?
Emma Stone.
For
Is
Candy
Candy
Kong?
Kong?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, that's got to be, like, the person that's able to talk him down out of the shit sometimes and kind of bring him down to reality a little bit. Diddy has to be somebody that eggs him on.
Diddy is the random crazy guy in the town. You know what I mean? The guy that nobody takes seriously.
So maybe, like, a little Steve Buscemi guy that, like, maybe Steve Buscemi.
Maybe Steve
somebody
Buscemi.
like Steve Buscemi.
I was thinking the fucking annoying guy from Workaholics.
Yes, I could see him playing.
Yeah,
that
right?
character. I can't think of his name though.
Okay, wait, which one are we thinking now? We talked about the
short
dude...
annoying kid.
The pretty boy one.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know
so the
what
pretty
I mean?
boy one,
But
not
he's-
the stoner with the
Not
the
the stoner with the
goof
I
ass.
love
long
him,
hair, not
but
the
no.
not the tall one who's just like I'm like proper. No, like the like dude, like what we're gonna do is like we're gonna go take bong hits out of our ass, like that guy.
Hang on, I'm pulling
Right.
it up.
So
this is another kind of he's egging him on the entire time. So that's Adam Devine.
Yep.
And he's egging him on the entire time. So this guy's like, he's tossing everything he can at these local kids. So he's like these local teenagers that are like kind of, it doesn't start that way. I see him like,
they've
Bring
been
the three
picking
of
on
them
him
in.
like. He's just like the town guy that nobody likes.
Yeah.
So like all the kids like throw rocks at him and stuff like that, and he finally finds a chance to like take revenge on him, and that's who this Donkey Kong guy coming through. He's like passing him barrels, he's passing him a sledgehammer, and this is a very graphic.
so this
gory
is
movie.
this kid's actual town. So Adam Devine actually lived in this town.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and like Emma Stone is like the bar wench. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
bar
like,
wench, really?
Yeah.
Bar wench.
So
Okay.
like he kicks
He
over.
can pull it off.
Apparently it's middle of Kansas town that has a medieval bar in it.
Yeah, I'm
A saloon.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Okay.
A saloon.
Whichever way you want to go with
And
it,
like
go
they,
for it.
Like
All
I
right.
said, they got the old school church in the center of town. They got the saloon. They have the long dirt road. This is like Western. We don't have cell phones, but we throw rocks at this asshole town.
So who's the big bad guy here? So I mean, is the therapist supposed to be the big bad guy, the Mario figure that they're
Yeah.
constantly trying to escape the entire time?
And like he comes in like with the tranquilizer gun because like he doesn't want to get too close, and
little buddy Diddy Kong, he takes the bullet for him. Takes
at
the
one
trank
point,
gun
at
for
one
him.
point, he like picks him up and he's just like, "Buddy!" And, like, he goes running, and then he gets into the bar, and that's where he sees like Candy Kong, and she like calms him down and everything, and then he comes, "I know you're in there," and like she's like, what's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, he's trying to kill us. He's the bad guy, even though he's really the good guy."
Right. Like, the psychiatrist has already approached her, like, he is, like, not stable. It's like, well, I understand that. I just saw some kid get a 55-gallon steel drum to the head, you know. I understand he might not see stable.
No, she hasn't seen any of that
that
yet.
played Scarecrow as a psychiatrist from Batman.
Which one? Movie or TV?
Movie.
Oh, good lord.
Batman Begins.
I can't remember that guy's name for the life of me. Batman Begins.
But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Like, he plays a good psychiatrist.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, he's like, oh, like, they keep locking me up, and, like, I'm supposed to be free, and he really thinks that he's Donkey Kong.
That is Cillian Murphy. That's actually from The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Yep. Was he in Batman Begins as well?
Yeah.
All right.
No, he was in all 3 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had, like, bit roles.
Yeah.
There was one role that he had, like, a specifically large role in, but, like...
That was the first one. The first one. He comes out with... like, he's the one who produces the neurotoxin into the system.
I think that, like, Scarecrow is one of the more badass villains there. He has no real
absolutely.
power, other than the fact that he can just make Batman nuts. that neurotoxin that he keeps releasing on people.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. No, I'm Batman.
Everybody's Batman in this town.
So, alright, so we have Crazy Donkey Kong. We have Diddy Kong, Candy Kong. Now, Candy Kong, I feel like, should get hit in the head with a barrel. And she goes a little crazy herself. Like, she forgets who she is. And he's like, oh, you're Candy Kong. And, like, she thinks she's Candy Kong from then on out. That's why she's helping them.
Okay.
All right. So, no, maybe not, like, completely forgets who she is, because we have to have her grounded just a little bit. We can't have her completely nuts like the other two.
You know,
she has to be that person that's able to kind of talk him down off the ledge before he gets himself shot. Like, hey, look, I don't know what you think you're doing or what's going on in your head, but stop. Cut it out.
And then he's on top of the church tower. You know, the
That's
greatest...
more like King Kong, just hanging out there, you know, biplane drives by, or goes by, that was spraying one of the local fields.
He's
standing on, like, the fire escape of the church.
Yeah, and it's just like...
throwing, like, fucking...
Throwing
metal
barrels
down the fire escape, yeah.
Or, like, maybe even just, like, the steps to the church steeple.
Yeah.
Like, right in the bell tower, he's just rolling barrels down there, trying to hit them.
Hobo barrels with fire flaming.
Oh my god, that would be horrible. Because now the church is burning and he's up here. Everything down here is burning. Where are you going now?
He's in a state of psychosis. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, either way, he thinks that it's a psychiatrist's problem. Like, the psychiatrist is doing that to him.
Yeah.
Right. So what's the end game to the movie, then? I mean, does he
Everyone
escape?
dies. No, I don't know.
So he's at the top of the church tower. Alright? And it all collapses. And when it all collapses, they're like, oh, like everybody thinks that he's dead. Candy Kong, Emma Stone decides to, like, she gets her memories back because she gets bonked in the head with some thing. Diddy Kong is like, he gets bonked in the head and he's like, he becomes an outstanding citizen. And they're like digging through like the debris, and then they find him. And like he's like in a comatose state, and when he wakes up from the coma, he's himself again. He's a regular human. He's out of his virtual reality world,
and remembers nothing.
Right,
does not remember a damn thing.
He doesn't remember sledgehammering like preschoolers, like at the Little House on the Prairie school.
Wakes up handcuffed to a fucking hospital bed.
Like it's just some horrible dream. Just
and then
God,
spends
what the hell
the
happened?
rest of his life in a fucking psych ward again.
Yeah. But he's normal now, and
yeah.
At least he isn't gonna run out. And...
Well, you know, I get that you are you now, and that. But while you were away, you know, Donkey Kong killed about 50 people.
Yep.
Mostly children.
Mostly children.
We can't exactly let you out.
But
you said they were foaming at the mouth. They were just screaming while they were running away, and you were throwing flaming barrels at them. Sorry, you're not allowed to burn children with flaming barrels. It's kind of against the law. You know, not the thing you should do. Okay, yeah, I think we got time for another round of this.
Another little quick one here.
And okay, quick one. All right.
Quickie.
Okay, whatever. All right. So let's see what we got here. We all got our cards.
The plot. The characters.
Round number 2. All right. So, the Knights of the Round Table fight to save their brainwashed family from a deadly cult. What if we add an invisible talking penguin that only the main character can see?
Okay.
That's some happy shit. Like, have you guys seen the show Happy on Netflix?
No.
Oh my god, you have to watch it.
This feels like a Monty Python sketch.
Yes,
It
100%.
really does. This feels like Monty Python all over. So I'm going British.
Okay.
Initially with my mindset
Jason
there.
Statham as the main character.
Okay, so Jason Statham is as what, Arthur?
Well, no,
Or
because
we
it's
call-
the
or
Knights of the
Lancelot.
Round Table, so we'll have him as Lancelot.
Lancelot, okay.
King
Here's another
Arthur.
question. Does anybody know who the other Knights of the Round Table are? Because I
Absolutely
have
not.
no clue. We might want to look that up because we have to cast the Knights of the Round Table here.
Alright.
Uh,
So we
I've-
have Jason Statham for one, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So basically, a deadly cult has kidnapped the families of the Knights of the Round Table. So are we gonna make this like a modern Knights of the Round Table?
I say
Like I say, Knights of the Round Table is sort of a name for like a British biker club.
I don't think we go with biker. I think we go with like more like mafia.
Well, still, we could still. I like the biker idea. I mean, it's sort of like a
Okay.
We got Lancelot,
sort of a gang of sorts.
Gawain,
Geraint. Percival.
Percival.
Bors
Percival.
the Younger,
Lamoric. Kay and Gareth.
Tristan.
Well, Tristan, we can make a fairly modern name out of.
Yeah,
You got to come up with modern names for these here.
so we have Lancelot. He just goes by Lance. All
Yep.
right. Lance Lawton.
Okay.
His full name.
So
Lance L. Lawton. And then Gawain.
Gary.
I think that Gawain should be Dwayne.
Okay.
Like he's the black guy.
Pardon me.
He's a black
Fuck
guy.
it. Cast the Rock as him.
Yeah. Lancelot and the Rock. Jason Statham in the Rock.
We got to force the Rock though to go through like months of like preparation to speak in a British accent.
Yeah.
Come on, it's got to be British, you know.
Percival.
Oh, throw fucking, I know he's not British, but, fuck, what's his name?
Okay, so we're
Gerard
talking
Butler.
about like British guys, right? Great actors. What about Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
I want him to be who was it? Tristan.
Oh, no.
It should be Tristan.
No, if we're gonna make this an all British cast, I want Benedict Cumberbatch as the leader of the cult.
Okay, so he is
the leader of the cult that is brainwashing these guys.
Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi. Throw him in there.
Let me see. Peter Capaldi.
Doctor Who.
Peter Capaldi.
Okay,
He's the
yeah.
guy. He's not the current Doctor Who, but the one just
No.
before.
Amazing.
There has to be like an OG old guy in this, so we're gonna put Sean Connery.
Peter Capaldi's old.
I mean, Sean
How old that
Connery.
guy is.
Okay, all right.
Peter Capaldi is like up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really up there.
Peter
Okay.
Capaldi's a great actor.
Now, if we're gonna have Benedict Cumberbatch, we got to have his counterpart from Sherlock in this as part of the gang.
Yes.
I think we should have Martin Freeman as part of the Knights of the Round Table.
Fuck yeah.
And essentially, they go on this. What do they call it? Quest for the Holy Grail. Like
Yeah.
it's like there's a name for it.
Okay, so. Well, it's basically the quest for the Holy Grail.
Yeah, but it was something like what was the quest for the Holy Grail? I can't think of.
That was what it was, wasn't it? Just the quest.
It wasn't
for the
a
Holy
quest.
Grail.
It was like.
Okay. Well, while you guys
I'm
are thinking
finding
of
it.
that,
I'm
Yeah,
trying.
because
so I think one of the guy that sees the penguin. Okay, so we got the penguin. I think the penguin needs to be voiced by what's his name there from forgetting Sarah Marshall. Russell, is it Russell?
Crowe?
No, not Russell Crowe. Not Russell. Is it Russell? He was in Arthur. He was in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Used to date Katy Perry.
Russell Brand.
Yeah, Russell Brand. He needs to be the Penguin.
Yes.
Okay. The guy that sees the Penguin. The guy that's literally going off his rocker the entire movie, seeing a penguin throughout this entire thing, is Ewan McGregor.
Yes! Oh my god! Ewan McGregor's fantastic.
Right? He doesn't know he's going crazy. He just sees this penguin everywhere, and it's talking to him. Nobody else can see the penguin. He's like, guys, you see this? No, I don't see this. And if you can hear that noise in the background, that is my dog literally trying to chew through the door to get to us. Does not like being trapped outside.
I really thought there was another name for it. It wasn't just like a quest. It was
just a quest for the Holy Grail.
Yeah, it's just, I think that's...
I mean, I think you're thinking of the movie, The Last Crusade.
A crusade. That's what
crusade.
it is. A crusade.
But, like, crusades were just a thing. It wasn't for the Holy Grail specifically.
Yeah, but like, you know, like, what would you call the quest for the Holy Grail?
The crusade.
Okay.
You know, so like they have to go on this crusade to save their family.
You're stuck in the Sean Connery, Harrison Ford, The Last Crusade thing where they were going for the Holy Grail.
Well, no, there's a general, like, that's what they went on. They went on crusades.
Okay, so they're going on a crusade to save their family, their respective families. So why is Benedict Cumberbatch kidnapping these families? Why is he trying to brainwash them?
Because he's trying to take over the kingdom or the mafia. He's trying to take over their specific...
So their territory. He figures by brainwashing their families, kidnapping them, and turning them against the Knights of the Round Table, this biker gang, this kind of mafia. Well, I don't know if you can call British mafia. Is there such thing as a British mafia?
I don't think
There's got to be another name for it. Like, what's...
Once again, we got Google.
Yeah, we're gonna go Google that shit, please. Because I feel like British mafia doesn't sound right. Yeah, I've heard of the Irish mafia, the Russian mafia, the Italian mafia, but Brit mafia doesn't ring. It doesn't ring
British
right. Firms, British biker gangs. There's got to be names for it. Because there's obviously the British version of these things in the UK, right? They just have to have a different name for it.
Yeah,
they're a little nicer about their names than we are. Maybe not. Maybe I'm being a little stereotypical.
That's why they're called the Knights of the Round Table, because
they're called the Knights of the Round Table. Basically,
they're a
gang of sorts that they're all bikers. I feel like Ewan McGregor with the Penguin is the sidecar dude. He's always in the sidecar.
He always has a sidecar. But there's nobody there, and he's always talking to the Penguin.
The Penguin is in the sidecar.
And the Penguin always has great ideas, but they never listen to it because he always says it comes from the Penguin.
Right. Fantastic ideas. Fantastic idea. Yeah, Penguin told me. What? No, okay. Fuck you, man. I don't want to listen to you anymore.
And then there's the guy who always takes the cue from, he's like, oh, the Penguin told me to do this. And he's like, oh, that's a stupid idea. Hey, that's a good idea.
We have Benedict Cumberbatch is what you see as the leader of the cult. Okay, so they take out Benedict Cumberbatch, but he's not actually the leader. The guy, or I should say girl, behind Benedict Cumberbatch, because we've over-emasculated this movie already.
Yeah.
The girl behind Benedict Cumberbatch, Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes! Oh my god.
As the lead badass.
Perfect.
Trying to take over everything. And she's got her own little clique.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is like the front. He's the guy that she puts at the front of everything, because if anybody's going to go down for her shit, it's going to be him.
It's going to be a man.
All right.
Absolutely.
Helena Bonham Carter is like a very well-respected member of, she's considered upper crust, blue blood almost. You know? And she is like a very well-respected member of the community. So nobody would think that this is what it was, but it's all behind the scenes, all very much behind closed doors. So when they take down Benedict Cumberbatch, they get their brainwashed families back, but the end of the movie is sort of, her knowing that, yes, they won that little battle. Mm-hmm. War is definitely not over.
Yeah. Goes on to fucking 2 more sequels.
I got this whole thing with Ewan McGregor with him talking to penguins in my head. You know, I don't know if anybody's seen Harvey here with Jimmy Stewart with the big rabbit that he sees all the time.
Yes, I saw that.
That was a fantastic. I think they did a remake of that too, if I'm not mistaken. It was not a well received remake. I think it just got swept under the rug. I think they did do a remake of sorts for that. I can't be entirely sure. I mean, maybe it was just in the works and it never came to fruition. But that's what I'm seeing right here. I'm just seeing like this.
The original was in 1950 and they remade it in 1996.
Who was in the 1996 version?
Thank you, Google.
Right. Google's a fantastic fucking thing.
If you guys want to sponsor us too, Google, because we use you a lot.
We are Googling shit left and right. Left and right.
We don't Bing shit. We don't ask Jeeves.
I Bing shit on occasion.
Get out.
Bing's not quite as accessible because Google comes up the second I bring up Safari on my phone. So it's like right there. Bing is not the first thing that I go to. But
Harvey, 1996, American made-for-television fantasy comedy film. Remake of the 1950s classic starring James Stewart, based on Mary Chase's play of the same, blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
who was in it, though?
Here we go.
Okay. What do we got here? Harry Anderson?
Mr. Anderson.
Do you know who Harry Anderson is? Have you ever seen the TV show Night Court? That's like the most prominent thing that he's known for. Because I can't remember a lot of things that he did outside of Night Court, but he died actually a little bit back.
Okay, he looks vaguely familiar.
He was big in 80s TV. I really liked that TV show. But Night Court was one of my favorites back then. I don't know why I was watching that as a kid.
Okay, he was in It.
It? The original It,
the
the
original
miniseries.
It as the adult Richie.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I know who we're talking about.
So I mean, you've definitely seen him. He's a familiar face.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can see him doing the Jimmy Stewart thing. You know, I can see him doing Harvey.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have thought that to begin with, but I really think they could remake that movie now.
I just saw something online.
Didn't they do something similar?
They were making it again back last year.
Definitely wasn't a Harvey movie. Have you seen that? There was a flick with God damn, why is his name escaping me? Van Wilder, Deadpool.
Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds, there we go. Ryan Reynolds, he did a movie where the entire movie he had a dog that was talking to him, but he was like killing people.
Oh my god, I love that fucking movie.
What was that?
What was this?
Shit. Voices.
That was such a good movie.
Such a good fucking movie. He plays this fucking psychotic guy. He's super nice and everything, right? But he's schizophrenic and he stops taking his meds and his dog starts talking to him and his cat starts talking to him and his cat's a fucking asshole and can it's
cats are assholes.
Yeah, it's the typical like dog's the sweetheart, cat's like it's the angel and devil on your shoulders. And he starts falling in love with this girl that he works with, and then he accidentally kills her because they hit a deer, and he sees the deer in his sticking his head through his windshield, and he's skitzing out, and he's sees the deer talking to him, saying, "Please, for the love of God, kill me." So he pulls out a knife and slits the deer's throat in front of this girl. And she's like, "What the fuck did I just see?" And starts booking it. And he's running after her, knife still in hand. And he fucking accidentally falls on top of her and stabs her. And he's like, I'm so sorry. And he stabs her again. "I'm going to put you out of your misery. I'm so sorry. You're not going to be in pain anymore." And then he just keeps killing women that are attracted to him. Fucking Anna Kendrick is in it.
Yes,
and
yes.
I
remember all the talking severed heads in the refrigerator.
Yeah, he cuts off their heads and puts them in the fridge, and he takes them out and starts talking to them like they're still alive. And
what is this?
They're going on.
It's super goofy. Oh my
voices.
God. He lives in an old school bowling alley. Yeah. That shit is fantastic.
I'm gonna watch this one tonight.
Definitely worth watching. All right, so I think that'll go ahead and tie that up for us here today. And I thank you again for listening to all we have to spew out into the universe. And from myself.
Thank you for listening.
Miss B.
And from Zeph, if you think that we're going to run out of things to talk about, you are wrong.
There's always something to talk
stay
about.
Stay tuned next week for another exciting adventure of...
Cinematic Anarchy.
This shit that we're doing here. Something. We're going to do something.
It'll be entertaining, I hope.
Entertaining to say the least.
Yeah, that's what we aim for anyway.
Absolutely.
Try to be a little entertaining. All right. Good night. Goodbye. Good luck.
Au revoir.